Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. Let's philosophize a little bit. Let's talk about pride. Now, this is kind of a difficult topic for me to talk about, only because I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to really explain this stuff, man. We'll see how articulate I can be. See if I get twisted up in my own words. When you talk about pride, it gets confusing, and I think that this is why it's one of the hardest sins to avoid. A lot of us have pride in something, and we don't understand why we shouldn't feel that way. Are you a proud Marine? I know lots of proud military guys. Apparently that's a sin. Having pride is a sin, and you might scratch your head and say, well, what's wrong with being a proud Marine? What's wrong with having pride in my nation, in my country? You can even take it further. What's wrong with cultural or ethnic pride? Is it okay to be proud of being Irish? Is it okay to be proud of being from South Africa or Bangladesh? Is it okay to be proud of being Italian or American? Or is that all sin? So it gets confusing. Are you allowed to go from nothing like I did? I was born homeless. And then I went homeless again when I was 18. I graduated high school and I moved right out of my mom's house into the streets, went homeless again, and was homeless for a couple years, been homeless twice in my life. I'm making this video from a house that I own in Florida with a great big pool and a nice big backyard with property that I bought with my own money from working hard. Damn right I'm proud of that. Is that a sin? Am I not allowed to be proud of this? This achievement and these possessions? I just bought a really cool ass Mustang. I've never owned a car this nice. And it's paid for. I'm not even financing it. It's paid. I'm not allowed to be proud of that? To have pride in that? I think it becomes a problem when it's excessive. When you over-identify with accomplishments, things, aspects of yourself that you really can't control, like your culture, your ethnicity, your race. You're just born into that stuff. You can be proud of it, but it gets excessive. It starts to turn arrogant. It starts to turn aggressive, where you're anti-others. You think you're better than others. It's one thing if you're just a proud Irishman. It's another thing if you think that Irish people are the best in the world and everybody else is a piece of trash, subhuman piece of trash. And sure, when we talk about pride, it's not fair. It's not fair. You know it's not. They had Pride Month. It wasn't White Pride Month. There will never be a White Pride Month. Oh my God. Could you imagine? White Pride Month? Even saying that word too much. The algorithm has probably screwed in this video, just even saying the two words together. But gay pride is celebrated. Brown pride, black pride, and all these other kinds of pride are looked at as inclusivity. The only thing that's looked at as exclusive and looked at as terrorism is white pride. All the other forms of pride, at least in this day and age, are looked at as inclusive and awesome. So I mean, I understand. There's a big double standard going on. But we can get hung up and talk about pride back and forth like this. Is it good? Is it bad? Let's reduce it down to the bare bones. What we're talking about here is arrogance versus humility. If you have too much pride, you're an arrogant douchebag. And you combat that with being humble. So we want to live a life of humility. How can we stay humble, yet still stay confident? Because I like to teach humility. Guys have a problem with that, some guys do. But I'm not trying to teach a person to restrict their strength, to hold themselves back. I do not want to create weak men. So I like a king who is confident and humble rather than arrogant. Typically arrogance is unconfidence. You might think it's confidence because it looks so similar to confidence. And a broken woman, a woman who never had a father that taught her right, will very often go for an arrogant douchebag, some son of a bitch, because she mistakes that for confidence, because she doesn't really know what a real man is. That's a different video. So here's a few ways that we can practice humility staying confident at the same time to battle this arrogance of pride. Practice frugality. Frugality, is that the word? Frugality, to be frugal. You know, don't spend so much money on useless bullshit. Learn to budget yourself. Learn to be a simple person where you just don't need a lot. You don't envy others. You don't need much. This will help you with your survival. And to become a frugal person, a simple man, means that you're becoming an excellent survivor. I hate to even use the word survivor because to me the word survival has weak connotations to it. I like the word thriver, but that's not a word. So it gives you confidence when you're thriving. Another way that you can combat arrogance, to be humble, is to track your successes and your failures equally. Keeps you grounded with who you really are and where you are in your path. One aspect of arrogance is a delusion, a fantasy. This self-inflated, egotistical world that people create for themselves, and they think they're the best, the smartest, the greatest, the fastest, the meanest, the toughest, whatever. Keep yourself in check, but not so much in check to where you're being excessively humble and you're denying necessary celebrations of success. It's a good thing to take an inventory of your successes, write them down, so you can remind yourself, hey, I'm not as much of a loser as I thought I was. But don't get too hung up on either side. Another way that you can stay humble to combat arrogance is to be aware of your body language. A proper body language for a king is shoulders down and back, chest out in your Superman pose. I call it Superman pose because remember when Superman when Clark Kent rips open his shirt and exposes the S on his chest. That movement, that's where your chest should be. You shouldn't have your chest down like this. I have a problem with my posture, and I always try to remind myself, shoulders down and back, chest out, chin high. That's confident posture. But there's an arrogant posture which gesturates too much. Guys grabbing their nuts and moving their hands around too much. Man spreading with your legs way wide open, trying to take up as much space as you can take. I'm not saying you got to cross your legs like some kind of weirdo, but keep your body language normal. Some people aren't normal with it. You know what I mean. When you see it, it has a giggle factor, and you know this is some arrogant douchebag. I used to know a lot of little mob guys out in the streets that would act like that. You just laugh at them, man. It's like, what are you out of a movie? Develop good friendships. Good friendships help keep you grounded, help keep you in check, help give you a support system, help keep you connected to reality. And this will keep you humble and confident. People who have good friendships and good support groups are more confident than those who travel this path completely alone. Talk less. Listen more. People who talk too much, it's a sign of weakness. A sign of strength, of confidence, and of humility is to keep your mouth shut. Go to dinner and keep your mouth shut. Let her talk most of the time. Go to a party and just ask questions. Don't talk about yourself. And the last one is be considerate of others. That's such a big one. That's such an important personality trait, is to be considerate of other people. It helps society run better. But this is what kingship is about, is being considerate of other people. Nobody likes an arrogant, closed-minded, selfish king. It's all food for thought.